What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Level YouTube channel. Hope you're having a great week, so happy Monday. You guys, we are getting close. We've got some snow, I get it. You see some of these guys out riding, having a good time, but we're getting close to winter, and it's certainly time we start the preparation for all things, well, getting our sleds together. We're seeing a lot of builds happening. People are buying backpacks. You're seeing me out with the Avalanche Alliance, and we're trying to talk about all things safety. Today, we're going to talk about something I am very proud of, and that's this new first aid kit. Let's get into it. All right, so a little bit of history behind the first aid kit, guys. So you can see on the front of this thing, I've got my name, I've got Next Level, I've got Altitude Sickness, I've got Skins on here, so it's kind of a three-part play. Let's start with myself. So at Next Level, we're going into our 13th season. I have, for the last 9 years, something like that, I've been a wilderness first responder. So meaning I took, for those of you that don't know what that is, wilderness first response it's an 80-hour course. So it's 10 days consecutive. It's a lot of acronyms. It's a lot of instruction. And the things that you take away from it are this: first aid kits, what it takes to be able to fix things. And beyond it being a first aid kit, it's more of a trauma kit. And direct, if you were to look up trauma, it's any injury to the body due to violence, due to accident, or due to fracture. And so beyond the first aid kit, where we kind of look at like go to Walmart, buy a first aid kit, this is way more trauma based. So things that you need when we're out there, and let's be honest guys, we are in a sport or sports, because this isn't just pertaining to snowmobiling, but the sports that I think that we're all out there, and the guys that are following this channel, guys and gals, that are interested in this stuff, we're into some pretty violent sports where we can have fractures, we can have accidents. And so building what I think is a standalone trauma kit was something I've been wanting to do and been asked to do for a number of years. So that's my involvement with this is, putting a bunch of years of input. The weight was a big deal for me, the size of the pack, and that sort of thing. So Next Level got involved with Altitude Sickness. Altitude Sickness is owned by Rick Scherzel. Rick is a paramedic. He lives in Milwaukee. And man, has he seen it all, guys, especially with COVID. He has been out and about. His stories are kind of endless. And I'm sure that there's a lot of you that are out there that are either EMT, paramedic, fireman, military, something like that, have plenty of stories of your own. And you can probably do the exact same thing in terms of what you would create in a trauma kit. So Rick and his expertise is a big part of this. And then Skins got involved with building the bag. We wanted a water resistant bag. It's really well put together. It's easy to hang on to. It's got multiple straps. And then once we open it up, you'll see the organization inside, which in the event of any first aid situation, that efficiency is necessary. You open it up and you know exactly where these things are. Okay, so moving inside, you can see it's got an adjustable strap right here, whether this was going to hook onto something. There's a Velcro patch that's out here. A lot of people would be wondering what that is. In terms of why Rick put that out there is if you wanted to have a patch that had your name on it, if it said SWAT, if it said Bomb Squad, if it said whatever you wanted it to have on there, that Velcro area right there, if you wanted to add something of your own, is a pretty cool idea. The Made in the USA, you guys just saw a video we did with Zollinger Racing product. These products that are built in the USA, we're really proud of that, and so I'm stoked that Skins is honoring the fact that they are built right here in the USA. I think that's important. So to get into the pack, guys, you'll open this up right here. It's a pretty simple, and we'll go into detail with some other shots there. But anyway, it lays out and looks like this. So it's kind of a three-part play. Once you get inside, right here, I don't have to dig into this, but this is a letter from Altitude Sickness. It's thanking you for the purchase of the kit. And then it also has a brief description in there of, what something like this is all about. And really what it alludes to is, no matter what I'm showing you here, getting the training. I talked about wilderness first response. Let's remember, first aid, CPR, wilderness first aid, or WFA, or going for that full wilderness first response or responder. Those are all courses that in the early season, throughout your summer, throughout the spring, certainly not trying to do it right now when everybody's thinking snow and snowmobiling. Those would be important classes to go out and get. And so we can put some helpful resources in the drop down below in the description. And along in that drop down, before I forget, I will put the itemized list of what's in here, although I feel like I've got it fairly memorized. So as we dig into the kit, you open it up, you can see a lot of bright colors in here. This is a booklet that'll talk about this resuscitator. We'll get to that in a second. We'll start on this side, guys, the hard goods of this whole thing. And this is what's separating this kit from just a standard first aid kit where you've got, you know, burn relief or sting relief or things like that that may not be, it's not really a kit that we need while we're in the backcountry in terms of on the snow, right? So as I look at this side, you know, immediately, guys, we've got some trauma shears. You guys can imagine a backpack gear of any way, being able to get into that. Not many of us carrying this. And could you carry a knife and get away with it? The answer is sure, but this is going to be a really efficient way. You've got a heavy bleed, you've got to get to somebody to do CPR, and you need to get that material off of them quickly. A set of trauma shears is pretty awesome. You have got a Sharpie. We'll talk about the Sharpie here in a second. Right here is about 15 feet of paracord. Shouldn't have to explain to most people of what paracord is. Man, you could do a number of different MacGyver style of fixes with something like this. So having that paracord is in there is pretty awesome. This is made by Cree, and this is an awesome LED light. Having light in any kind of first aid situation would be pretty fantastic. That all comes in the kit. And then, guys, this is a tourniquet, all right? And here's where you can see this white labeling on this, and we'll do some close-up shots of this. The white labeling on there is where you take your marker here, your Sharpie, and is if you were to tourniquet someone here, wherever you needed to apply that tourniquet, you would actually write the time on there, right? Because we all know 2 hours is about that limit, and people can argue with that all they want. This is from Rick and from numerous professionals that you'd want to have that time on there. It's very important. So having the Sharpie there, that's right. We'll dive into this. You've got a space blanket, fairly basic. You'd probably see these in a lot of kits, but this is definitely important. You got somebody that's hypothermic. We're trying to create a layer between whoever that person is and the snow. So being able to have something to get that person away from the snow. You've got some trauma pads that are here. We'll open this up. Keeps going further. This pack is really well designed. These are these 5x9 trauma pads. You get a few of them there. Again, I won't dive into the actual specifics because you'll see that in the description. So that's on this side, covering everything that we need there. And then we'll go on to here. You've got some waterproof tape, right? Waterproof tape. You've got a way to cut that tape. And then right in here, guys, this is your CoFlex. This is a bandage, kind of adheres to itself. Really important if you had a major cut, something like that, and you've really got to get it bandaged up. And then moving on to this, and this is something that you could add to a lot of kits, but the fact that this is already inside of the kit, you guys that do know what I'm talking about here, this is a CPR Resuscitator. You've already got your Nitrile Gloves in there, and you've got that Resuscitator in there. With COVID and with everything else that's happening in our world, this would be a great, don't leave home without it. And then obviously, guys, this is something that does take practice, would take training. And those of you that have trained with it would know what I'm talking about. So this is really important. Boom, it has its own little slot right there in the kit. And then we move on to this other side, and this is where we've got two packages. This is 100% organic, and this is a hemostatic agent, right? So this is a blood clotting agent. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of people, there's actually a lot of companies that are building this in the gauze form and something like that, but having some type of blood clot, combining this with the bandages, with the tourniquet if necessary, and that type of thing. We're not doctors out there, we're not surgeons, and a type of training that goes really into depth with this stuff. There's a lot of those things that you learn where you kind of know where your pay grade is. In other words, you know when you need to call for help or you need to evacuate. But when you have that type of training and have the right equipment, there's definitely things that you can do in a wilderness environment that can, potentially save a life, right? That's the idea. So you've got your quick clot there. And then we follow it up. We've got some aspirin. So we've got some Benadryl for some allergic reactions. You've got a couple of packages of extra strength Tylenol, a couple of packages here of Bayer. So you've got some aspirin, you've got some Tylenol, you've got some standard Band-Aids, and in here, guys, there'll be kind of a series. There'll be a couple of knuckle bandages, your standard Band-Aids here. They give you quite a few of them, and then obviously some alcohol pads. So a pretty well put together kit. And then like I had said before, I'll kind of reiterate, there's room left over because I know that there's gonna be a lot of you that, you know, throughout this are like, oh, I would add this or I would add that. And you know what? At the end of this, you know, when we're always asking you guys for your questions and your comments, which we obviously appreciate, you know, put those in the comments, guys. Put what you put into your first aid kit and know that that's what we are attempting to do. The weight of the kit, it's about 1.5 pounds, which to me, for something that's life-saving, this is probably something that I wouldn't put in my backpack, but potentially into my tunnel bag. And one thing that's really neat that we were kind of thinking about is, at least in the next level tunnel bag, the lining of the bag is like a felt material. And so you can actually take this off and that Velcro will actually adhere right into the bag. So wherever you stick that thing, it can't go anywhere, which we thought was kind of a cool and unique way to do that. So anyway, this is the next level first aid kit brought to you by Altitude Sickness. Skins had a big role in this. I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. This is that time of year. Let's get prepared, understanding that none of this is gonna do us any good if we don't get the training. But I hope that you guys like this video. Let's stay safe this winter and we'll see you next time.